We're back with another week of high school sports, and Steve Willett's Red Onion Cafe and Seafood Bar.
It rolls right off the tongue, right?
It does.
They're still at it.
They are, and we're waiting for word on the grand opening, and we'll let you know when that happens. But in the meantime, go check out their new menu. I understand it's got some new offerings.
It does have some new offerings indeed, and some of the old favorites as well. So the Baconator and a few others.
Okay.
You can still get those, and they still have their fantastic milkshakes and ice cream. And
Steve's personal favorite.
I've definitely made a few stops there in my time, and we'll probably be doing so again in the future. So yeah, get on out to Red Onion Cafe and Seafood Bar when you get a chance.
Okay, and we're going to move into soccer. We've got some Lynnwood Royals to talk about.
We do. Soccer season coming right down the stretch here. Final regular season game of the week coming up for all of our teams on Tuesday, and then we go right into playoff action and district action. And quite the battle going on right now, too. I think when we looked at it last for the RPI rankings, which determine your playoff seedings, I think right now it's Meadowdale 4, Edmonds-Woodway 5, and Lynnwood is number 6. So they're all bunched up together, all having really strong seasons. Two of those teams, Meadowdale and Lynnwood, play each other in the season finale on Tuesday night over at Lynnwood High School, a place that the Lynnwood Royals don't lose at very often. They've yet to do so this year, and they've only given up one goal over at Lynnwood High School. So we figured we better bring the Royals in. After winning 8 of their first 13 games in league play this year, they've been much improved from where they were last year. So we had a chance to talk to 3 of their captains and talk about not only the Royals' big matchup coming up against the Mavs on Tuesday, but also about what they've been able to accomplish this season so far and possibly what we can expect in the postseason play. Here's the interview we did with the Lynnwood Royals boys soccer team. The boys' high school soccer season comes to an end this week, at least the regular season anyway, and then it's on to the district playoffs. And joining us right now, a team that has had a lot of success on the pitch this season, much improved from last year, the Lynnwood Royals. 7 wins out of 19 matches in 2018. This year so far in league play, 8 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw. Talk about improvement, right? They've got 4 team captains on the squad, 3 of them joining us this morning. And let's go ahead and introduce them right now. Who do we have on the end here? And we'll find out what positions they play too.
I'm Miguel Ahumada. I'm a junior this year, and I play center mid.
I'm Omar Alzeer. I'm a senior, and I play center back.
I'm Omar, and I'm a senior, and I play forward.
So we've got 2 Omars, Omar A and Omar S, just to keep them straight during the interview, and Miguel. And guys, I guess the first question, and Omar S, or Omar A, why don't we start with you on this one? We just talked about the record and how much improved you guys are. Well, what's been the biggest difference this year? Did you see it coming?
Yeah, well, I expected us from the beginning of the season to play this good, just because we've had chemistry last year, and we didn't really lose anyone.
So, what, two starters gone from last year's team, Miguel? Is that correct?
Yes, 2 starters.
So, what was the expectation? Did you guys talk about it even last year when you were kind of struggling, knowing that there were a lot of juniors and sophomores on that team? Did you guys kind of foresee this, and was it something that was discussed?
I think last year our coach Pablo actually thought that we were going to do very good this season, and since we have been, it's just been great because all our sophomores and juniors last year moved up as a junior and senior this year, and I think since we build our chemistry up, we've just been expecting to win more games just because how good we play with each other.
And so a team that's picked up quite a few wins this year, although they didn't come easy early on, you guys had a 3-game stretch to start the season in which you lost 2 games, tied 1, and you didn't score a single goal. Omar S., I'll ask you the question right now. Were you guys a little concerned at that point? Were you thinking, we should be better than this? Why aren't we getting it done?
Yeah, definitely. We were starting off with 0 goals, which is the worst thing possible. But it was just we were warming up. So.
But you guys played some good teams early too, right? Yeah, I mean, that's a Jackson team that you lost to at the beginning of the year. They've only given up 4 goals all year. Marysville-Pilchuck was your 2nd game, and they're in first place in the entire Wesco 3A right now. Probably the 2 best teams maybe in Snohomish County. That's a tough way to start your season. Yeah, do you think you're a better team for having to go through that early on?
Yeah, it's better to do in the beginning of the season because we kind of adapt to their play style and just play the better teams. It's better towards the beginning. Kind of
get you ready to go for the rest of the season and builds a little momentum too. So 9 wins and 2 losses over their last 11 games, and they really are looking really good right now. Omar A, lot more fun when you're winning than when you're going through last season.
Yeah, I mean, last season we always said that this season is going to be our season, I mean, we knew we were going to have a tough time at the beginning of the season, but we pulled it off, and now we're scoring goals left and right.
And the thing I did want to ask you about too, and maybe I'll ask you this question since you play defense. Looking at the team 2 years ago, this team had a lot of success. And I was going back and looking through the numbers. That team 2 years ago, you had Dane Evanger, you had Riley Johnson, and this is a team that was outscoring everybody essentially. They were just putting up goal after goal, and they were giving up goals in the process though. You guys have only given up, I think, 9 goals all season in league play, which is one of the top 2 or 3 numbers in all of Wesco. Is it a different mindset? I mean, is this a team that kind of prides itself on defense more than maybe going out there and trying to outshoot people?
Yeah, I think we just got better defensive players from the 2 years ago that we played with Riley and Dane. Our offense is still good, but our defense got way better.
So let's go ahead and find out who these guys are a little bit and what makes them tick. We're going to have a little fun here, Miguel. I'm going to start with you, and we're going to kind of go right down the line. I'm going to have you, rather than tell me about yourself and what kind of a player you are, tell me a little bit about the defensive player here right next to you, right? Omar A. What kind of a defensive player is he? What kind of a teammate is he?
Well, I've known Omar since I was little because I played with his brother and we played on the same club since we were little. And I've just gotten to know him so well that like all I could think of him is like he's almost like my idol almost, because since how hard he plays, how hard he pushes everybody, he's probably the loudest player on and off the field, no matter like, and he's like gone to every practice, even with his broken foot, gone to every game, and he just helped support us throughout the whole season.
Omar, is that something you have to work on, or is that kind of innate for you? I mean, being a leader, being vocal, it's something that comes easier to many than it does others. And
Yeah.
some people have it, some people don't. Some people need to work on it. What about you? Is it something you've always kind of had with you?
I'm glad I got it early on. First years playing soccer, I didn't have it. I was a quiet kid. I was a shy kid. And then my coach told me that as a center back, I should be the loudest player on the field. And then one time he told me to not stop talking the whole game. So that's what I did ever since then.
And it's something that Miguel just brought up, and we haven't really addressed it yet, but you have been out most of the season. You just came back, I think Friday night was your first game.
Yeah.
What has it been like for you as a senior having to watch this on the sideline, knowing that the guys are out there having success and you want to be a part of it?
Oh, it's really, it's not really heartbreaking because we're winning, but I just wish I could be playing, since the beginning of the season, but nothing I can do except for take care of my foot.
And how is the foot right now?
It's good.
Stamina? That's always tough to come back from in soccer,
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Are you feeling good in that regard, too?
Yep. I've been working on it every single day since I got recovered.
Okay, so we've heard a little bit about Omar A. Now let's hear about Omar S. from Omar A. Tell me a little bit about the guy sitting right next to you here. You're one of your forwards and what he means to this team.
Omar Salcedo is one of the best strikers I've ever played on a team with. He's very fast, soccer smart, and he doesn't give up. He probably has the most stamina out of anyone on the team. He can run forever.
Now, Omar S., is that something that you work on stamina-wise, or is that something that you just kind of had built into you from the get-go? What do you do to prepare stamina-wise?
Just play soccer, but I've always had a long stamina or lots of stamina since I was young, because I did track and cross country and all that.
Cross country is something that definitely helps in the sport. So do you find yourself in the off season? Are you going out running a few miles at a time, or are you just basically running up and down the field and getting in shape that way?
Running down the field mostly, but sometimes I go for runs. But usually playing soccer.
As a forward, is it safe to say your favorite moment in a game is scoring a goal? Or
Definitely, yeah.
yeah, I can imagine. You've scored a few of them this year too. And now, Omar, tell me a little bit about Miguel over here. What kind of a player is he? One of your midfielders? I'm guessing he's probably assisted you a time or two, right?
Yeah. He's a short player, but he's one of the most aggressive players I've seen. Definitely compared to all the other teams, he can play against the taller guys. Guys with 6 foot, he can tackle everyone.
Miguel, I'm a shorter guy myself, so I know that feeling a little bit. Do you kind of get out there and take a little more pride when you're going up against a bigger guy?
Oh, for sure. Ever since I was little, I've always been the shorter kid. And my dad has always told me, go in strong, tackle hard, and just keep playing no matter what.
And it's been working so far for you.
That's what I've been doing.
Definitely. Tell me a little bit about some of the other midfielders. Who is not here that maybe if we go to a Lynnwood game, and there's a big one coming up on Tuesday night, which we will get to, who are we watching out there for the Royals?
For our midfield, we have Christian Mata, Toby Atchison, and Julian Argoza. And our outside wings, which is Kevin Diaz and Jose Frosto. They're just really fast players, and all of us in the midfield, we can distribute it really, really well with each other.
Very good. And then, Omar, tell me a little bit about the defensive side of things. Who's back? First of all, let's start with the goalkeeper. Who do we have in
We
the
have
net?
William Juarez. He's a really good keeper. I wish he was a foot taller, but I mean, what am I going to do? Our defense, we have Luka Radic, Leo Ventura, and Eric Villasenor. We're a solid defense. And as you mentioned before, we haven't been letting in goals, so.
We should mention Eric's the other captain of the team as
Yep.
well. That's not here
Eric's
today.
captain.
And then, Omar, as far as up front, who's playing with you and who's helping you score goals?
Alzeer, he's a freshman, so that's really surprising. Sean Monin is also another striker, and also Robel. I don't know his last name, but
Ollie is there. That name sounds familiar. Omar, you know a thing or two about him?
Yeah, Ollie's my brother.
Playing as a freshman.
Yeah.
As a big brother, what's that meant to you to be out there on the pitch with him?
Oh.
Did you know he was going to be this good as a freshman?
Yeah, I mean, I taught him everything he knows.
I love it. There we go. And it's worked, right? Are you guys similar players? I mean, obviously sounds like he's playing more up front. You're in the back.
Well, that's the thing. He's a striker. I'm the defender. So if he knows how to get by me, then he knows how to get by the other defenders. I teach him secrets about how to get past defenders, and he teaches me secrets about what strikers like to do.
There we go. And we should mention, too, we had the guys help me out with this one. Big 3-1 win over Cedar Crest on Friday, a 2-0 win over Edmonds-Woodway earlier in the week. So you went undefeated, and you guys have helped me put the vote together on this. We're going to give little brother Ollie a chance to walk away with something on the show, too, so big brother's not getting all the fun. Ollie's going to be our Action Jackson Plumbing Player of the Week. Omar, what did he do to deserve this shirt this week? I'm going to give that to you to give to him, by the way.
Yeah, he won everything out of the air, got a couple assists, great celebration. He's just a really good player. He's been passing accurately, being very physical. I mean, everything you can ask for.
And he's getting it done, and they're getting victories in the process. You guys have a huge game coming up on Tuesday. Final regular season game of the year against Meadowdale. And Meadowdale's always a rivalry. Miguel, you know a few of these guys, right? You got friends on this team?
Yeah, I do have friends. I know the striker River and one of the midfielders Stevie Kuhn, and I've been playing with them since I was little as well, and it's going to be a fun game.
So we'll talk about playoff implications here in a minute, but from the standpoint of Meadowdale, Lynnwood, Edmonds School District, and knowing a lot of the guys, you want bragging rights on this one, don't you?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so it's a big deal. And then, Omar, you pointed out something to me that I didn't realize. This is a road game, if you will. You're the visiting team, but it's at your home field, Lynnwood High School, which is used for Meadowdale quite often. And you guys have a little streak going on there this year.
Yeah, we're undefeated at home and have only let in 1 goal at home this whole season.
So I'm guessing River, who we just mentioned a little while ago, who's put up a pretty nice season, you guys are going to want to try to contain him a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
And I didn't even get a chance to ask you, and we had Meadowdale on earlier this year, and you guys kind of one-upped them. I think at the time we talked with them, they had one point in their season had 5 consecutive games in which they didn't give up a single goal. You guys did one better. You had a 6-game streak where you didn't give up a goal.
Yeah.
I mean, what is that like in the process? Are you defensively, Miguel, you play midfield, so you play a little defense there as well. How important was that for you guys to have that streak? Did you guys talk about it a lot?
For sure, every single practice we were like, we have to keep the streak going, no goals against, and our defense just works extra hard every single day to keep that streak going.
So Bothell came in and you beat them 3-1, got the victory but lost the streak. Did you guys feel like you won afterwards, Omar? I mean, or was it a little bit
I mean,
disheartening a little?
I would have liked the 3-0 win, but a win's a win. It was a friendly, so it's all right.
So we go into the final game here coming up against Meadowdale. You guys are currently number 6 in the rankings. 10 teams make the playoffs, the district playoffs. The top 6 get an automatic bye into the double elimination tournament. Teams that are 7, 8, 9, 10 have to do a play-in game, a 1-game loser-out game this Thursday night. You guys are trying to avoid that. So in the number 6 spot, you lose to Meadowdale, you could fall down to even number 7 and have to play in that game. If you win, you could even leapfrog Meadowdale and Edmonds-Woodway, who are number 4 and 5, and maybe even get a home game on Saturday, which is be kind of a nice thing, right? If you're a top 4 team, there's a lot on the line here. Omar S., I mean, in terms of getting ready for this game, I mean, do you guys look at the standings? Do you talk about the playoffs and how they're kind of working out, or Is it kind of the unspoken rule in practice?
Yeah, for sure. Like every game, we want to get the 3 points because they're all important. In the playoffs, definitely too, because it'll depend whoever you play.
It's going to matter then. I mean,
Yeah.
7:30 Tuesday night over at Lynnwood High School, so we certainly encourage folks to get over there. Meadowdale team that we've already had in the studio this year, and again, they're playing just as well. This is a really strong league right now. Win or lose, you guys are going to be in districts. Omar A., what are we expecting from the district playoffs this year? There's a lot of good teams in this league.
Yeah, I mean, we can't really expect anything. We beat most of these teams. We just need to play harder than we played them when we beat them. They're going to come in trying to, stop us, but we're just going to have to outplay them.
Top 4 teams in the district playoff will go on to the state tournament. So again, these guys are ranked number 6 right now in that whole process. So we will see what they can do, and we'll see. Miguel, I would imagine you guys don't want to have to play that Thursday playing game either, right? That's kind of takes a lot out of you going into Saturday.
Oh, for sure. If we win, then we're just gonna keep practicing on like what we need to get better for districts. But even if we lose, I'm pretty sure that we're still gonna practice and we're still gonna get better. But it would be a lot easier for us to gain our strengths for districts to be able to win our way to go to state if we win on Tuesday.
So we will see. And again, Tuesday night, as of right now, the weather report showing that we should have some fairly nice weather too. So get on out there, watch these guys play, watch Meadowdale play. 2 very good, evenly matched teams taking the pitch. I did want to ask you one final question before we talk about your future aspirations. Coach Pablo, tell me a little bit about him. What's it like playing for him? Obviously, he's been there a while. He's having some success there right now. Omar A., what's that been like for you?
Well, he's a great coach. He's really helped our offense a lot this season. As we mentioned before, we've had a problem scoring goals at the beginning of the season, and that's where he really stepped up and, told us to really take shots.
Mm-hmm.
So Pablo really made a big help there, along with our assistant coaches.
So Omar, is there anything he does in particular that helps you guys offensively?
We do a lot of offensive drills, like shooting and stuff, and that probably helps the most. Yeah.
And I'd be remiss if I don't do this. Miguel, give a little shout out to your assistant coaches too.
We have our main assistant coach, Coach Brown, and he's one of our coaches that is just with us and he bonds with us, and then he gets on us when we need to get better. And then our other assistant coach, he's on us all the time. I think he's the hardest one on us, and he pushes us to do a lot better, like in practice, in games, and I think he's the reason why we keep ourselves to push ourselves to play harder in games and everything.
Very good. Omar A., are we missing anybody there? Do we cover it all?
Yeah, we got Coach Aaron, Coach Brandon, and Coach Brown. Yep.
There we
all
go.
the assistant coaches.
So we got 4 really good ones there, 3 assistants and Pablo. Great job this year, guys. And got to ask now too, the 2 seniors. We'll ask you guys first. Omar S., you're going to continue playing soccer next year too, right? This isn't the end for you. Where are you heading off to next year?
I'm going to Skagit Valley. Hopefully do engineering, but not sure yet.
And you got a soccer scholarship to go play there, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a big deal. I know Skagit a little further up the road, but hey, when they come calling on you, and they've got living quarters there, so you'll be there as well. And engineering, like he just mentioned, so that should be fun to kind of see what you can do with that. Omar A., you've got purple and gold in your future, right?
Yeah, I'm studying to become a dentist, but this summer I'm going to Palestine to, help with my family's hospital and volunteer, to get some volunteer hours,
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Tell us a little more about that. Where exactly are you going there? And
In Palestine?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to a city called Harmala. I'm just going to go there, help the doctors, help with whatever I can help with, get as much experience as I can.
do a lot to help the community and
Yeah.
get some valuable experience in the process. And then on to the University of Washington in the fall. Maybe a little intramural soccer in your future, perhaps?
I really hope so.
Perhaps walk on? You talked
Yeah.
about that too, right?
Yeah, I really want to I want to play as a walk-on.
So we will see how that goes. Stay tuned. But at the very least, hey, dentistry, not an easy path to go either way. So, and Miguel, for you, you've got a year left, but it sounds like you've already kind of started thinking about it a little bit. You're only a junior, but what are you thinking in terms of maybe post-high school?
After high school, I'm really wanting to play soccer, but I also want to go into school to be able to become a surgeon. But I don't know what specialty I want right now. I'm really looking into like a neurosurgeon. I want to be a neurosurgeon. So I just want to find a good college to get into. I really want to get into UW and play soccer there.
Excellent. So he has a little time, though, so we'll see where that goes. So potentially a neurosurgeon, a dentist, and an engineer. 3 very bright individuals up here and 3 guys who are playing on a very successful soccer team. They're all captains, and the Lynnwood Royals are getting ready to embark upon the district journey starting next week. But first, they've got a big game against Meadowdale Tuesday night. One more time, 7:30 over at Lynnwood High School. Get on out there, support these guys, and see what they're capable of doing. Omar, Miguel, all 3 of you, thank you very much for coming in, and best of luck to you this week.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Well, let's see. We have a future surgeon, dentist, and engineer. out of
That's a
that
pretty
group.
strong 1, 2, 3.
I
right?
just, we talk about this all the time. These kids are such amazing students, not just athletes, and
More importantly, students.
lots
yeah.
of aspirations there that are very admirable.
No, and that was a fun interview, and to find out what all 3 of those are looking forward to in their futures, and to know that they have those aspirations, it makes our job a lot more enjoyable, and it's quite frankly why we like to do this so much.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
great job, guys.
Yeah, in addition to covering all the amazing athletic accomplishments,
Which is a lot of fun too.
Yes,
absolutely.
it is. Okay, so what else do we have to talk about? More soccer?
More soccer. Again, big games coming up this week, so
Yeah.
we just encourage everybody on Tuesday to get out there. Edmonds-Woodway will be hosting Mount Lake Terrace on Tuesday night in their final regular season game. Again, playoff implications for both teams. They should both be moving into district action next week, but first and foremost, they've got to get that game out of the way, and then it's on to the postseason, so stay tuned.
Okay, good. And now I think we're moving into softball.
We are going to move into softball, a team that struggled early in the season. They seem to have figured it out, though. They seem to have found their groove. The Edmonds-Woodway Warriors softball team that usually is fairly strong, certainly at the Wesco level and even beyond that. The Warriors went through a 9-game losing streak earlier this year and seem to have righted the ship. They've won 4 of their last 5 games. They've got 5 games left in the regular season, so they're looking to make some more noise and perhaps even better their standing, their place in the standings, I should say, and their seeding for the district playoffs, which start in a couple weeks. So we thought we'd bring in a few of their players. 2 sets of 2. We're going to do 2 groups of interviews. The first one is with their 2 captains, Gracie and Morgan. Both are seniors, both play in the field. Gracie's the shortstop, Morgan's in the outfield. And then we're going to follow that up by talking to the future of Edmonds-Woodway, who also happens to be the present, their catcher and their pitcher, both of which pretty much play exclusively at those positions all the time, Annika and Sofia. So we had a chance to meet all 4 of the Warriors players to talk about the season and what's to come, and what's kind of brought on this new surgent of wins all of a sudden that we're seeing. So here's the interview we did with the Warriors. It's time to talk a little softball right now, and with us a team that all of a sudden seems to be catching fire at just the right time. They had a 9-game losing streak earlier this year, which we're not going to talk much about, but right now, 4 wins in your last 5 games. And with us from the Edmonds-Woodway softball team, we have the 2 team captains, Morgan Sweet and Gracie Boyd. Gracie, what's gotten into this team lately? Why all the wins all of a sudden?
I honestly think that we're just finally clicking together. Leaving the seniors, we had so many seniors last year, and then we have a bunch of freshmen coming in this year who some have select experience, but some don't. So I think just the team dynamic was apart for a while, and now we're just finally clicking together, and we're able to do the rotations, and we're able to hit our cuts, and we know where to go when we get the ball, and we're figuring out how to hit the ball when we need to hit the ball, and I think that's definitely been a huge impact on our wins and losses.
Was there that aha moment where all of a sudden things seemed to be clicking? Did you notice it, or was it just kind of gradual over the last few games?
Yeah, so actually the what game was it? I'm pretty sure it was honestly Shorecrest. We had a really good game during Shorecrest, and even though we won 2 games before that, it was just wow, yes, we're winning. But then Shorecrest, we were fielding cleanly, we were hitting when we needed to, and then we played Lynnwood, and we were playing small ball, and we were getting runners on bases, and then trying to get them in, and we knew what we had to do in order to win.
The good old fundamentals, it sounds like then.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Morgan, when you've got a 9-game losing streak and you're a captain, you're one of the seniors, I've got to think morale tends to get a little low at times.
Yeah.
As a leader of this team, was there anything that you were trying to do to kind of help the rest of the team along, or what was the conversation like?
I think one of the big things we do is like, because softball, it's a really mental game. Like they say, it's 90% mental and like 10% physical. And I really think that's true. And so when something like that happens, we say that you have like a couple seconds to go over it in your mind, and then just kind of you gotta put it aside by the time the pitcher's ready on the mound for the next play, because that next play could be coming to you, and you gotta be ready for everything. And it just really it gets you down when you think about mistakes like that. So we really just kind of gotta push it aside until later. And I think that's like the most important is this. You gotta kind of take it, analyze it, and just put it away until later.
Is it a pretty
going.
positive group in general? I mean, or is it a
Oh,
group
yeah.
that,
Yeah.
that was never an issue?
100%.
No, 100%. We can get each other going. It's all about just the, like, complimenting when they do good, and taking when you do bad, and being like, giving them advice as to how like they can fix it for next time, and just really positive stuff. Like there's really no negativity in us, because that won't make a good team. That won't make us work.
No, definitely. Well, you've got 5 games left in your regular season schedule before districts. Right now, you're on pace to make the playoffs, but you'd really like to get into that top 6 slot period,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
you don't have to play a playing game. Gracie, does it put a little added pressure on this team, knowing that you kind of dug yourself a hole earlier in the year, and now each game matters that much more?
I honestly think that this year is not about winning or losing. I think this year is about we have a new coach, so we're trying to figure it all out. And I just think that we have like Morgan said, we have a good attitude all the time. We're constantly cheering, whether we're winning or losing. So I think that's like the most important thing that we're doing right now. We're just learning how to go through the basics, learning how to teach our freshmen what they need to know in order, like,
To continue.
yeah, to
There's
Kinda laying the
there's
foundation.
a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of us leaving.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be a really new team. So we just kind of it's like focusing so that Edmonds-Woodway softball has more years left. Like I want to see this program continue forever. So
yeah. I mean,
that's what we got to work on them with.
we have gone to districts and state, I think, the last 2 or 3 years since we've been on the team. And, so we have that past, right? And it's really, like, obviously our goal is to get to state. That is every team's goal. And honestly, I think right now our goal is to get to districts and see how well we do there. And if we can make it to state, then we get to state. But
Then woohoo, yeah.
yeah, but
But it's like it's kind of like focusing on an inning rather than the whole
step
game.
Sure,
One
bigger
step
picture.
at
at
a
a
time.
time.
Yeah.
Good for the two of you and good for your team for doing that. Morgan, Gracie just mentioned it, new coach this year, Cassidy Orsted, who's been around the program before, right? So not completely new.
No.
Sounds like she's a pretty passionate coach and enjoys softball.
Oh,
Is that
yeah.
fair to say?
No, she really blows me with just how much she loves the game. Like, you can just see the dedication. Like, she watches games and videos and drills. She makes us, we started a new thing this year. We'd never done it before. After every game, we write in our journals about, like, personal, what we achieved and what we want to work on, and team, what we achieve and what we want to work on. And she goes, like, above and beyond with things. And the drills, they actually have a purpose. They're not, like, repetitive. She incorporates new things every day, and she always asks for feedback. And it's not just like she's coaching to coach, it's like she's coaching because she wants to see us improve and actually love the game. Like,
So we've heard about the coach a little bit. Now let's hear about the two captains. Gracie, I'll start with you. Tell me about Morgan Sweet, the outfielder, the teammate, the captain. Who is she? What kind of a player is she?
Morgan, she always has a smile on her face. I honestly, like, if I ever...
oh boy, I'm a blush already.
Like, no matter how the game is going, like, Morgan will always be that person to cheer you up. Like, you can always go to her and be like, hey, Morgan, like, she knows that you're down, and she's always with the freshmen, like, cheering them up, making sure that they know what to do, what's the next step, like, if they miss something. She'll let them know, and she'll say it with a smile on her face, and she's such a bubbly, and she's a great add to the team all the past 4 years, and she's a great captain, and I'm glad to have her by my side. Because if I didn't, I don't know what I'd do.
Sounds like she'd make a pretty good coach someday. Is that something you'd ever think about, or?
I had never really thought about that, to be honest. I really focused, I guess, on my education. Sports, softball was something just fun that I started in like grade 8, because in Canada they didn't.
Well,
really
that's
have
what I was
it.
going to ask you next, because you are from Canada. You moved here in the 7th grade.
Yes.
Is there softball in Canada? I mean, do they play it very often at the
There-
school level, or?
There is, but it's kind of like, you know, like select teams. Like they have it outside of school. Where I grew up, there was no softball in school. Like, I think I played a t-ball game probably when I was like 7. So that was about as far as my softball career was until I moved to the States, and I figured out it was like a really big deal here. I was like, you know, that's a cool sport. I want to try it out. And then lo and behold.
5 years later, she's a team captain of one of the better programs in the area, too. So congratulations
Thank
on
you.
that. Now tell me a little bit about Gracie.
Oh my goodness.
Gracie,
Okay.
the infielder, Gracie, the teammate.
Gracie, the infielder. Okay. Gracie's skill for softball, like, blows my mind. For real. Just she's so crisp with everything she does. Like, whether she's behind the plate catching, or she's at shortstop, or like anything in the infield, like she just, like, you watch her and it's just impressive. Like, it puts you in awe. She like feels it, and it's throwing, it's accurately, it's fast, it's hard, and and when she goes up to plate, she has a plan, and she can hit the ball. Holy smokes. Gracie can whack the crap out of it. And
For power, for average, what kind of a hitter is she?
I think she's a powerhouse, personally. I think that when she gets it, it's like, it's gone. They gotta make a play, they gotta try and get her out, and it's hard, and she's fast. Just watching her, it's really exciting to watch her, and she's like, and she's really bubbly and happy too, like when she comes in and out, and she's just got that team spirit, and not to mention like her fashion sense and stuff, designing art.
Which we're going to get to in a few moments here, yeah.
She's all around so great, and I love watching her play, and I love being captain with her, and it's been a really great couple years playing with
We've
Gracie.
certainly seen Gracie's name appear in My Edmonds News over the last few years a few times for what she's done on the softball field. Now that the two of you are done making each other blush, let's talk about some of your teammates a little bit.
Yeah.
Gracie, you're an infielder. Where do you primarily play, and tell me about some of the other infielders that you're playing with.
Okay, yeah. So I play pretty much shortstop. I mean, like, we have so many different rotations and so many different people because we're just trying to figure it out. But
Work in progress.
we have figured a lot out. So I'm mainly shortstop. We have a freshman, Reese, who is mainly second. Nani, she is mainly third. She's a senior. Sofia is a sophomore, and she usually catches. Annika, sophomore, pitches, and then we kind of go in between Maya and Emma Nelson, who are both seniors who play first. I think that's pretty much the best plan for it, because I mean, I grew up catching for the team also, but I just feel like Sofia does a great job, you know, and I feel like I'm more helpful in the field than I am behind the plate. So it's a great dynamic. You know, everybody knows their rotations, and if it just kind of stays like that, then I think we'll be pretty fine.
Great dynamic with a lot of variety in terms of ages, too, it
Yeah.
sounds like. Freshman,
Yeah.
sophomore battery, which we're going to talk to later on in the show. Then we've got the seniors out there, so interesting to note that. And then, Morgan, you're out there in the outfield.
Yes.
Who are you out there playing with? You're playing left and right for the most part, right?
Yeah, I'll switch between wherever, you know, coach puts me. I'm just ready. We have a lot of outfielders. There's me, Sammy Dickinson, there's the twins, Ava, Camille, Danielle, Izzy, Elizabeth, Mojiza, Mary. Is there any other ones?
If not, we'll mention them later. But
Yeah,
so-
I was like, there's a lot of us.
big rotation
There's a
then
lot.
going on.
Big
It sounds like,
rotation.
yeah. And is that kind of fun that
Outfield.
way? I mean, do you always have to kind of remind yourself who you're playing next to on any given game?
No, I mean, I obviously I take a look at who I'm playing with, but I don't know, I think it's kind of fun to play with new people, and they each kind of got their own skill and their own tendencies. What out there, like, we all got our fundamentals, but I think I don't know, I like playing with new people out there, because it's not like they all know what we're doing. We can all kind of coerce, and we meet in the center before plays. You know, we kind of talk real quick and do a little cheer, and I don't know, I like having new people coming in and
Yeah.
out of our outfield.
So
I think
It's
it's fun.
nice. The nice thing about high school, honestly, is that
Nice thing about high school.
we're always transitioning.
getting it done either way. So we'll see.
Exactly.
And 7 seniors on this team. I'm hoping that you're going to make a lot more memories before the end of this year.
Yes.
5 games left in the regular season, and then on to districts. As far as looking back now over your career and kind of reflecting, though, do you have a favorite moment or favorite moments? Obviously, this team went to state last year, which was a pretty big deal. Gracie, maybe I'll start with you. Do you have a favorite moment from the Edmonds-Woodway experience so far?
Oh gosh.
Or moments, for that matter?
Yeah.
State's got to be a pretty exciting deal.
It's amazing. I mean, you're out there with girls who you've never played with before. You know, you're so used to playing with, like, you know, Mount Lake Terrace, Lynnwood, Meadowdale, but then you get out there and you're playing with all these other girls, and it's just, you know, that whole memory of going to state and taking the vans with your team and going to the hotel and being able to have that team bonding, like, the whole entire day. I mean, it's really sad because, you know, that's, like, the last hurrah, and then the seniors are off, but you know, that memory is just, that'll hold on to you.
Yeah, you'll
You
take
know,
that with you for many years to
Especially
come.
if you have, like, last year and then the year before that. Both of the captains that we had last year really, you know, made it just an amazing team dynamic, and so, you know, that's our goal. But, yeah, just the memory in state itself. Like,
Sure,
there's
sure.
so many things. Like, you know, we all went to Dutch Bros down in Lacey, and, you know, like, we don't have that around here. So, like, just something like that is just, like, that just sticks out.
Morgan, what about you? Do you have a favorite memory or memories?
I think that state is like the big hitter for everyone because you're going, and when you get there, you realize that like you've made it to like the top. Like these are the best softball players of our age level in the state, and you feel like, and you have your jersey on, and it's like a whole different feeling. You're like, I'm representing my school, my city, my entire state for a sport, and you just feel like really proud to be there and have your jersey on. So everything I do there is just memorable because you are playing with girls that you don't know, and I think that's a fun challenge. So like you can't analyze and know everything, and that I think proves the skill is that you're playing against a team and you can pull it together and take a win on girls that you really know nothing about. I think that, I don't know why this sticks with me, but probably one of my favorite memories is in districts, I think 2 years ago, and it was when our old pitcher, Mariah Worry, I don't remember what team we were playing, but she hit 2 home runs, and then the bases were loaded, we had 1 out, and it was like really close game, and it gets blasted to left field where she was playing. She catches it for the 2nd out and throws it to home and got the girl out at home, and it was like the craziest thing. It was probably one of her best games, and I remember
That might
our
have been the
coach-
district game, I think.
It was in
That was
districts, yeah.
I was there. That was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was crazy. That just made me so excited. And our win against Everett in districts last year, it got hit to Sierra Ortiz, and she tagged the girl running from 2nd to 3rd, and that was it. And against Everett, and they seem
that's
to
a
be
big
our
one.
really.
We don't win against them.
No.
You know, we don't win them against them in our field, their field. They just always seem to win.
And it's never by much. It's like by 1 run every time. And then we beat
It
them
would
by
have mattered
1.
most. You got them and you got to state. So
Yeah.
pretty big deal. The 2 of you, we already mentioned it, you're seniors. What does the future hold for you? Gracie, what sounds like you've got some pretty lofty goals and plans, and they involve you going out of state next year. Where are you heading off to?
So I am officially enrolled in San Francisco Academy of Art University. It's a 4-year school. I'm still talking to the coach about if I want to play softball there or not because, you know, for me, I've been playing since I was in T-ball, right? I grew up in Pacific Little League. I went to select teams when I was really young.
Been playing for Rush along right here?
Yeah, I've played for many select teams, and then, you know, going up to college, that was my dream. You know, I wanted to achieve the goal of going to college ball, but then it gets closer and closer, and then you're like, wait, my life, like, so
It's a big responsibility
Yeah.
once you get there.
yeah. So I'm still talking with the coaches to see if it would be a good fit for me, or if my major and softball don't really collide because of just what I would have to do to get to graduate. But it's gonna.
She's got a little bit of time. Well,
It's gonna be crazy moving to San Francisco on my own and getting out there. But I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm super excited.
and I learned something new. I didn't know that the Academy of Art would even have a softball team. So
Yeah,
that's pretty
it's-
cool in itself.
It's one of the only NCAA schools that have a softball team.
And we should mention too, your major is going to be what? Because this is pretty fascinating.
Fashion visual merchandising.
She wants to work for companies and exactly
Yeah.
what is that real quick?
So, I mean, fashion visual merchandising, there's a bunch of different aspects to it, but what I want to specifically work on is I want to travel. It's a big thing for me. I want to travel and I want to go to runway shows and softball player fashion, but it's okay.
Nothing wrong with that.
I want to go to runway shows and take some of the big designers and bring them into the store that I work for. And then I want to visually make it appealing to the customers who are going into my store. So I want to be in charge of the whole entire store aspect of it.
Nice. And
Yeah.
so maybe in 10 years from now, she'll design an Edmonds-Woodway softball jersey. And
I
yeah.
already
Roll
did.
that too.
I already
she already did.
she's
Okay,
like-
we did not know that.
Yes.
Sketchbook, she's ready.
Okay, we will see how that goes. And then Morgan, for you, you're going to stay locally.
Yeah, I'm going to stay local for now. I'd like to go to the Prima Medical Institute in Seattle for the veterinary technician program. It's a 2-year program. I'd probably stay and get started. I want to work in a vet office ASAP. I love it. I've already done some work involving that. I know that it's what I want to do. Maybe in the future I'd head over to Wazoo and, continue to upgrade and go full veterinarian. But for here, I'd rather stay locally. It's a privilege to just stay in one place for me because I've moved around a ton.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like it and I don't want to leave for now. So that's where I am.
A love for the Pacific Northwest and a love for animals, it sounds like.
I love animals so very
Good
much.
for you. That's outstanding. So again, 2 young ladies with very bright futures ahead of them. 2 young ladies that we hope are going to make some noise here for the rest of the season and into districts too. Gracie, Morgan, congratulations on everything you've been able to accomplish at Edmonds-Woodway.
Thank you.
And we should mention too, this is part 1 of 2. We've got the battery for Edmonds-Woodway, the pitcher
Yes.
and the catcher, the sophomores
Yeah.
coming up next. Sounds like they've got a bright future too, right?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
gonna hold the team next year.
100%.
We have no juniors this year, so there will be no seniors next year, unless obviously some come. But they will be the root to this team next year. I have no doubt.
I have no doubt. I'll leave it in their hands. I know
Yeah,
this program
I
will be
have full
excellent.
confidence. You got
Full
this.
confidence.
You got this.
Sounds like a wonderful segue, doesn't it? So let's go ahead and hear from them. Here are the sophomore pitcher and catcher, Annika and Sofia from the Edmonds-Woodway softball team. And we continue our discussion about Edmonds-Woodway softball with the sophomore battery for the Warriors. We've got the pitcher, Annika Forseth, and the catcher, Sofia Chamorro. Ladies, first of all, congratulations on what you've been able to accomplish this season. And we already talked to Gracie and Morgan about some of the victories that have been building up lately, one of which took place on Wednesday. And oh, by the way, we're going to give away a t-shirt here real quick. Annika, for you, your first complete game shutout as a varsity pitcher at Edmonds-Woodway, a 4-0 victory over Lynnwood on Wednesday. You are our Action Jackson Plumbing Player of the Week. Congratulations, we're going to give you that shirt to wear proudly.
Thank you.
What was that moment like for you? I mean, shutouts are what pitchers strive for, right? You got one.
Man, that's just always my goal is to play my heart out for the girls, and I mean, I do my job as a pitcher, and playing for my girls is just always fun, and having Sofia behind, have my back all the time. Yeah.
Well, and talk a little bit about how important it is to have a catcher who's out there with you and kind of simpatico on the same page and everything else.
Man, we have this relationship. We know what we want to do. Every play, every batter, we always have a plan with what pitch we want to throw, and she has a great softball IQ. So having her be behind the plate is just amazing. I love having her there.
The two of you are pretty much almost 100% pitcher-catcher. I mean,
Yeah.
there's really nobody else that comes in and pitches or catches. Sophia, for you, I've got to think that helps really develop a nice chemistry. Is it a lot easier for you knowing the pitcher so well and knowing what to expect and maybe what pitches to call as well?
Oh, for sure. Knowing her weaknesses and her strength and knowing where, she has a really good curveball, so we're going to take advantage of her curveball and use it more often. And her changeup is really good, too, so mix up the hitters. And they're not able to keep over her speed because her speed is really good, especially throwing the fastball inside. Most of the time, they're going to pop it up and then just throwing change up outside, then they're just going to roll over. So it's just really cool to have a great relation with her because we both agree on everything and we both trust each other to know what to do. So yeah.
Does she let you call the game for the most part, or do you get
calls the
shake?
whole game.
Does she? You never shake her off at all?
Once in a while, yeah.
Yeah.
It just then again, that's where the trust comes. We have 100% trust in each other, and we know we did something wrong. We're just gonna help each other out.
Yeah.
So give me your evaluation or maybe your scouting report of the pitcher here. Is she getting stronger as the season goes along? Because certainly the numbers seem to say that. I'm noticing that the run totals against you as a team have been going down. Is she getting that much more comfortable as a sophomore pitching at the varsity level?
Oh, for sure. She was comfortable from the beginning, but also, again, as a new team, and we have to trust each other from the back, the infield, and the outfield, and she's doing great and getting more comfortable by, like, her speed's increasing and her movement on the ball is increasing by a lot, and she's just getting used to the umpire strike zone, especially in Wesco. It's different every time, but, like, you have an idea of, like, oh, this umpire wants this, umpire wants that. So she's getting totally comfortable, and the hitters she's just unstoppable right now, honestly. So.
Well, and for you, Annika, I know you had a couple seniors you were behind last year with Mariah and Kyra, and they picked up a lot of those innings, and they seem to be the two names that we usually were looking at when we would look at results. Stepping into that number one role this year, a little extra pressure for you going into the year, and you seem to be adapting to it pretty well. How have you been feeling?
I've been feeling really great. I mean, having my team, I had those girls to look up to, but I mean, I felt like I could fill their shoes and do my part on the team.
So tell me about your catcher here. What are her strengths? I mean, we talked about some of them already, but what kind of a hitter is she? What kind of a catcher is she?
Man, she's the most consistent hitter I know. I mean, she has a game plan just like Gracie does all the time, and she can really hit the ball when she wants to. She always is thinking and making sure I know. Like, I will go ask her all the time, like, what did I do wrong? If I hit the ball, like, on the end of my bat, she'll tell me that. She knows, like, exactly how to fix it. And, I mean, catching, she's amazing back there. She knows exactly what to do, what pitch to throw, what is working for me that game. And I'm just like, okay, I'll just put it in her hands. Like, she has the game. She really does.
And Sofia, what are some of the other things about Annika that you enjoy working with so much? And we talked about some of her pitches already, but
for sure, a great leader as a pitcher. Yeah, as a catcher, I should be the loudest, but she's also probably the second loudest in our infield. And with Gracie too, they're always relaying the outs and knowing like where the plays are. Just her attitude too, like sometimes she's not gonna hit the spot, but she knows that she's gonna hit the spot the next time. So she's always positive about that. And then again, just her effort. She's always in the game, 100%. She knows to cover bunts especially, and then just her pitching's awesome. I really couldn't ask for another pitcher to catch. So. Yeah.
The two of you heard the interview we did with Gracie and Morgan right before this, and Gracie mentioned that no juniors on this team right now. You're going to be the old members of the team next year, and she called you the root of the team. What does that mean to you when you start to hear things like that? Has it started to sink in a little bit that we're that much closer to the end of this season and that eventually, Annika, you're going to be one of the leaders of the squad?
Yep. I mean, I'm just so excited for playing for Edmonds-Woodway. It's always like a fun experience every time.
And then there was such a huge example as captains. It's great to come for next generation for us to be captains next year and just like start from where they were begin with. So yeah, I thought they're just great examples to look for. So
big week coming up this week. 3 games in 4 days. 5 games left overall. Are you feeling like this is a team that can maybe make some noise down the stretch and make a nice little run?
Definitely.
For sure.
Are you seeing the confidence build?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Our infield is more clean. Our hits are getting there. I mean, we're playing small ball. You know, we're trying to just find a way just to win. Anything possible can help. So, yeah.
Okay, and the question I asked the two seniors, and I'll throw it out at you too, although it's a little bit newer. Do you have a favorite moment yet from the season or from your Edmonds-Woodway experience? I mean, we've got the shutout here. That doesn't hurt, right? But has there been kind of that one moment where when you kind of think about what I enjoy most about Edmonds-Woodway, it's this particular moment, or is that yet to come, maybe?
I mean, as a freshman, probably could experience the most ever. I mean, last year is probably the best year, especially going to state. And as a freshman, I think that my favorite part was our first win in state. I think that meant a lot for our whole team, just like, because that led us to just a second game, and if we just won that game, we could have stayed for another day. But also, we played a really great game. I think they scored less runs, and we won that game. I think it was against Bainbridge, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was my favorite memory too, just getting the first win in state and just staying longer, and then the fields were really pretty, so it was really great.
It's quite the experience down in Lacey. Annika, what about you? Do you have a favorite moment?
For me, it was districts last year. Just getting that win with Ciara and just
Everett,
having that win over Everett was just amazing. And then this year, I think it was the Shorecrest game. It really showed like how we got together as a team and came with a win, and we really played as a team that game. So I feel like that really changed it all up for us and really showed what we could do.
Creating a lot of cool moments, and they've got 2 more years to do so. Although we found out they go against one another in when they're not playing for Edmonds-Woodway. You play for different select teams, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Who are you both playing for?
I play for Fury Fast Pitch.
I play for Rush Fast Pitch.
A lot of the Edmonds-Woodway girls there then too.
Yes.
So what's it like when she's on the mound and you're stepping to the plate?
Oh, of course I want.
You know what she's gonna throw, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. And she knows how I hit too. She knows my weaknesses up there, but I try to adjust to her, and I always want to get a hit off of her. That's my goal all the time because like she's such a good pitcher, and just it feels like an accomplishment when I get like a hit from her. So
Is it fun going against your teammate, or is it?
It's so fun. Like I love her to death, but I always want to strike her out. You know?
still wanna beat her, right?
Yeah, I still want to beat her and win.
So, yeah, a lot going on with these two and their teammates, and we should mention too a very young team next year. So,
Yeah.
who are some of the key players going to be next year on that team?
for sure, Reese, our second baseman, she's developing into being a really great second baseman and a really good slap hitter right now. We're kind of working into her slap hitter. Just her speed is super fast. Like, really, I can always trust her to steal base from second, and she's just really quick. And then who else?
Elizabeth.
Oh, Elizabeth, probably be a really good outfielder. She's getting really better at getting her angles and getting those pop-ups that are short or far away.
And we have our twins. We're going to be putting them in the infield.
Oh yeah,
probably.
for sure, yeah.
And we have we've heard about some freshmen coming up next year, and they play select, so we're trusting that they can do their job too and just come right into the community.
And then like I help assist coach in College Place Middle School, so like I know who's coming from next year, and it's great to like inform them. Yeah, we're still gonna be okay. We're gonna have a good players. We're gonna work this out. We're gonna find a way to keep the tradition of Edmonds-Woodway up there. So.
Keep the legacy going, so to speak. So we will see. But again, big week coming up. They've got home games against Shorewood on Monday and Archbishop on Thursday. You're at Meadowdale on Wednesday, and Meadowdale's in first place, and that's always a rivalry game.
Sure.
So 3 games in 4 days, and then on the one day you don't have a game, because I forgot to mention this in the last segment, it's Gracie's 18th birthday. So we're going to make sure we sing to her at practice on Tuesday.
Oh yes, for sure.
So there's a lot going on at Edmonds-Woodway these days for softball, and again, a lot going on as far as in terms of picking up some victories. 4 wins in their last 5 games. And we're going to hopefully talk to the 2 of you down the road, too. You're only sophomores. So, Annika, Sofia, thank you very much for your time, and best of luck to the Warriors the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, there are just some groups of athletes we have on the program who have this amazing chemistry, and that group is one of them.
Which is unusual because there's such an age gap between the 2 seniors and the 2 sophomores, and sometimes when you're around teams enough, you'll see the younger athletes kind of form their own little bonding, and they're kind of in their own clique, and then you've got the older players, and watching the 4 of them interact in studio together, it was a lot of fun. So you can tell that the seniors are great at their leadership positions, and the sophomores certainly are finding their confidence as they go along. And yeah, it's going to be a fun team to see and watch down the stretch, I should say.
Yeah, and in the future with those 2 sophomores coming up too.
Definitely. And softball, again, another sport where the season's extended out a little further. So they're not quite where baseball is yet in the sense, or soccer for that matter, where you're looking at postseason action this week. They've still got a couple more weeks left in their season. But nonetheless, there's plenty to watch. Meadowdale's been phenomenal this year.
Yeah.
Kate Houghton threw, I think, 3 consecutive shutouts before Mount Lake Terrace got to her for 4 runs on Friday, but still they won the game. Meadowdale in first place in Wesco. Mount Lake Terrace has really kind of found their niche and their groove also. Lynnwood's still struggling a bit, but nonetheless, we've got some teams who are going to be a lot of fun to watch, especially come postseason time. And I always enjoy watching the district action over at the Phil Johnson Fields up in Muckleteal, where the softball 3A tournament takes place. And looking forward to another fun one this year. There's a lot of good quality teams that are going to be trying to get to state this year. So Meadowdale, not a clinch or a cinch, I should say, to get there by any means. And Edmonds-Woodway, they're a team that if everything starts to kind of fall into place like it is right now, they could make some noise there too.
Very good. Well, speaking of baseball, we have that to talk about.
Yeah, baseball. One team has wrapped up their regular season already. That was the Mount Lake Terrace Hawks. Ended it on a high note, the regular season anyway. They defeated Cedar Crest on Senior Day over at Mount Lake Terrace High School on Friday. So they honored their 4 seniors, as well as Andrew Waters, the baseball coach, who has been there for 20 plus years, coaching his last regular season game there on Friday night. So they made sure that they included him in the festivities. So that was kind of nice. Mount Lake Terrace now goes up to Blaine on Tuesday to play a loser-out game into district. So if they lose that game at Blaine, their season is over. If they win, they qualify for the double elimination district tournament, trying to get to state. And it's worth mentioning that last year, Mount Lake Terrace was in a very similar situation to this, had to play a loser-out game. Worked out pretty well. They won and went on to district and to state and finished second in the entire state. So good luck to the Hawks. And then our other baseball teams, all three of them, wrapping up their regular season on Tuesday this week. We've got Edmonds-Woodway taking on Lynnwood, and that's going to be at Edmonds-Woodway. And then Meadowdale will be hosting Shorewood on Tuesday. Meadowdale's in that number 5 slot right now for the playoffs. Top 4 get a home game for their first round, so they want to kind of maybe bump themselves up another notch. So they certainly have a lot to play for. Lynnwood, kind of on the outside looking in right now. They really need this victory over Edmonds-Woodway. Absolutely need this victory to keep their playoff hopes alive. So they need that a lot more than Edmonds-Woodway does. Edmonds-Woodway having a strong year. They've already punched their ticket into district. So a lot going on the baseball front this week too. A lot to play for. And then on Thursday and Saturday, we get rolling with district playoff action. So stay tuned for that.
And probably some good weather this week to watch baseball
The
games.
weather seems ideal, which is perfect. And that's the other thing you always worry about, because not only is it great to watch it in, but you worry about getting the games in, rescheduling games when you're trying to get playoff action going later on down the road when everything is mapped out the way it is. It's definitely not an ideal situation when you look in late April and you see clouds in the forecast. And right now, fingers crossed, I think we're going to have some nice weather this week, and it should go well for them. And did want to mention a couple other athletes, too, while we're at it, because we haven't talked about some of the other sports yet on the show this week. I'm going to give a little shout-out to Natalie Paulson from Edmonds-Woodway, the number 1 tennis player over at Edmonds-Woodway. Defeated Sydney Wright, who's their number 1 player at Meadowdale, 7-5, 6-0 earlier this week. She also defeated Mount Lake Terrace's number 1 player, 6-love, 6-love. So, Natalie, congratulations to you and to your Edmonds-Woodway teammates for that success. And then also wanted to give a little shout out to one other athlete, Marcus Dilworth from the Edmonds-Woodway track and field team. Certainly there's plenty of kudos to go around for the Warriors this year on track and field, and we've been doing that all year long, and we will continue to do that into districts and state. But Marcus had a pretty nice afternoon on Thursday over at Edmonds High School. They were in a dual meet with Meadowdale and Marysville-Getchell. Marcus won the 110-meter hurdle, 300 hurdle, the long jump, and the 4x100 with his teammates. So 4 victories in one day.
Pretty good.
Not too shabby. So wanted to make sure we got a couple of those athletes mentioned as well as all the other athletes in the area who are competing and doing big things these days. So congratulations to all of you.
Okay. Well, as always, we have a lot coming up. We'll have a lot to report on next weekend. So if you don't have anything else?
I think we've covered it for the time being. But we, again, postseason coming up. This is where it all matters and where it all counts. And this is where you either qualify for the next round and potentially for state, or you pack up your things and go home for the year. So there's a lot on the line over the next couple of weeks, and we will be here to talk about all of it.
Yes, we will. So have a great week, everybody.
Take care.